All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Alchemy Podcast. I'm your host, Doug Cartwright, and I am excited to have Mr. Steve Warner in the seat next to me. Steve, it's great to see you.
I'm happy to be here.
Hey, last time I saw you, we were in Washington, D.C., and we were...
You were very helpful.
I was. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big part of a little bit of that insider knowledge that you had for the area that we went to. We crushed it in the cup because of that. I don't know if you knew that. I think I texted you afterwards, like, hey, thanks for telling us about this area.
So the backstory to this is I was out there. There's been a lot of people in your organization at Vivint who have been through the Alchemy program. A lot of graduates have come through your group. And I was out there doing a training on the doors with the boys. And then we decided to go grab a bite to eat just to catch up. And then you're like, because I sold there in 2014. And that was my statistically best year ever.
Was it Morgantown?
So we had Southern Virginia, so Southern DC area, all the way out to West Virginia.
Yeah.
Including Morgantown. So we had like a massive chunk.
Uh-huh.
And that was the summer that I installed 357 personally. Like crushed. That was just summer numbers. And then I was living the glory days with you at lunch, and you're like, hey, where should we go knock? And I'm like, oh, this little pocket in West Virginia, Winchester.
I actually went there that same day and just checked it out. People hadn't been there in a minute. And I remember, like, I think I sold like my third or fourth door. And I was like texting guys. I'm like, hey, I need you to come out here so you can see. So anyway, it was
you got the sauce.
That was our best. I mean, that was the best week when we were knocking there that I think Vivint had ever had for the EFP era. I mean, just like a way to calculate the accounts. But anyway, I think we did like almost 300. I think it was 280 accounts and 275. And it's like, we went gangbusters, and it was during the cup. So it like came at a perfect time. And anyway, that's a good memory.
Where's my override on that?
I'm gonna have to
come on, let's go.
I'm like, hey,
give me some of that Elton.
Brittany, I'm like, you gotta get some to Cartwright, my guy.
Yeah, that was good days, and I bet you knocked at the perfect time too, because I doubt anyone went there since we did.
I love knocking in areas that have had Vivint reps go through. I like to knock behind people, which is, some people don't like that. I love it, and so I kind of felt like a fish out of water when I was out there, but it was really soft. So it was all like, and like there was accounts from forever, so it's like we do upgrades and whatnot. But no, great memory. Like, and we've gone there several times since, and it's been, you definitely put us on. There was actually another rep in there, and she actually told us, her name's Kristen. She said, I think this area would be really good. Like, I have people that have, and so it was like she was saying that, and then you said that. I'm all like,
we gotta go.
I'm like, this is it. So anyway, that was a good time.
Yeah, so I think I look back at my Vivint career, which is crazy because I remember we were working at Vivint at the same time. What year did you start?
I started in my first summer with Vivint was 2013.
Yeah.
So it's been a while. I started with Pinnacle.
Yep.
Security, 2012.
Because your family,
was
a lot of your brothers.
Yeah, my brothers were, man, they started when I was 9. I'm 35 now, so it's like my family's been in the door-to-door space for literally more than a quarter of a century, which is like,
isn't that crazy how long we've been in the space?
I mean, it's complete, like, 100% crazy, but I'm all like, it's completely changed our lives. Like, I remember coming home from high school, and I mean, even junior high, and seeing my dad, because Pinnacle had this thing called the dashboard, and my dad would go, like Scott, Trey, and Danny, my 3 other brothers, he would go and like see how they're doing, like, oh, Trey's at 3 or Danny's at 4, Scott's whatever this, and it was just, he was just so into it.
He was doing live updates in the summer.
Yeah. He was so high. But the thing is, when I got back from my mission, the same excitement did not exist for me. I mean, they were crushing it. They were doing so well. And I remember I came back from my mission, went to my brother's house, and we didn't grow up with a lot of money. And I remember I came back from my mission. I started in Brazil, went to my brother's houses, and they all had gotten new houses since I had been gone. And I go in, and my brother's like, hey, come downstairs. Let's watch a movie. He's got this killer theater room set up. We throw on the first Avatar, and I'm all like even gives me chills thinking about it, because I'm all like, this is incredible. And like, I remember maybe a week or two later, my brother sat me down, like going over like the opportunity, but it's like, it's completely changed my family's life and the trajectory of like everything that we've done, you know?
And, and I agree with you on that. I mean, how many people's lives has changed? But where I feel like I'm curious, like you were raised, how many of your brothers sold?
All of them.
Yeah. And how many do
So
you have?
there's 5 kids,
Yeah.
4 boys. I'm the youngest of 4
Yeah.
boys.
So you were actually raised with it. It was like almost expected that you're going to go do this.
And that was, so I interesting that you bring that up. I felt a lot of pressure because I'm like, well, what if I'm the brother who isn't good? Like one of my brothers sold 400 accounts in a year. My other brother was doing like 16, 17,000. The other brother was doing like 12,000. Like they were just killing. I remember like my brother, 28 years old, made over $1 million in a calendar year. And I'm just all like, this is crazy. And I'm like, well, what if I go out and I'm not good? And I remember right before I went out my first summer, I got engaged to my wife. I took a $4,000 loan out from my brother, Scott, and I had no money to my name. And I remember I was in Dublin, California. No, the Bay Area was our area that we're selling for Pinnacle. And I like physically made myself sick because I was so anxious. I'm like, I just took out a $4,000 loan, got engaged. And I just, all that stuff that just comes into your mind, doubt, maybe I'm not good enough, I can't do this. And then I'm not kidding, like I was like throwing up. It was so bad. So it was like after, 3 or 4 days, I finally like come to, and then I just got after it. And I just kind of like felt like, hey, it's one of those things where it's like you're jumping off, like you're cliff jumping. Once you jump, it's like you can't stop, like it's going to happen. So just like go with it.
Well, I think that's what probably made you so good, right? Because there was no other option.
Yes.
I mean, if you're recruiting someone right now, do you want the kid who's got a freaking trust fund and has every once, or do you want the kid who has a $4,000 loan against his brother and just getting engaged, right?
Yeah.
It's the kid you want.
I mean, it was cool because I paid him back in 2 weeks. I was just, it was awesome. And I think there's something to say about like, especially for rookies, when they're excited and they want to work hard, it's really hard to stop that momentum. It's the reps that let it get in their head. And like, granted, I did let it get in my head, but I was just like, you know what? Like, let's just go out and just do my best, right? And I remember halfway through the year, my brother just said to me, I was having a hard time. He's like, Steve, when you're happy, you sell. And I was like, that is something that I'll always remember. I'm like, it's us that make the job difficult. And it's like, once I realized like, yeah, if I'm just going out and I work the hours and I'm happy, it's going to happen, So it's like, that's a little tidbit. It's like, it's not crazy wisdom, but like, actually it is huge wisdom.
Well, I mean,
just be happy.
That's the whole foundation of Alchemy, my company.
Yeah.
Right. It's sales as a transfer of energy.
Yes. 100%.
Right. So what would happen naturally to your performance if you worked all day in a peak state? Area doesn't change, market doesn't change, economy doesn't change, product doesn't change. You feel upbeat, enthusiastic, engaged all day. What'll naturally happen? You're going to sell. Right. And it's funny. I'm glad you brought this up because one thing, a pattern I see a lot, and I have to remind reps when I'm training or coaching is think about your first 2 weeks on the job. You're excited. You're enthusiastic. It's like
new.
It's new. Correlation meeting. You're reading the books. You're listening to the audio. It's like you're so excited and nervous going up to the doors. Your whole energetic system, your body is engaged and participating in what's actually happening in life. Then fast forward to last week of July, right?
Like,
it's 150 degrees, right? Sun's beating you down. You've gotten cancels, right? That same rep who was upbeat, enthusiastic, engaged, reading the books, they're sleeping in, they're rolling to meeting, they're checking their phone, they're getting on the doors late, The only thing that changed was the energetic relationship you had to life. And so I love that you point that out. Like when you were $4,000 in debt and had no money, your energetic relationship to life and to the job was probably very different and very engaged.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing, I love that you say that, like happy people sell. People buy from happy people.
Yeah.
And so that's actually, I always tell this, the hardest part of door to door is not selling an account. The hardest part of door to door is how active, enthusiastic, engaged, upbeat can you be on Wednesday, July 12th at 2 p.m. and someone just told you they're going to call the cops on you. How upbeat and enthusiastic can you be at that point? And that's the whole job, is in raising that enthusiasm and excitement. And so one thing that I really appreciate about you, Steve, wanted to bring you on is like, you've been in the space for So 13?
Yeah, so
13 years.
13 years, yeah.
And it feels like you haven't lost your enthusiasm for the job.
I mean, man, I could go on forever. I mean, I'm obviously in a different place than I was, on the doors. Like, I love seeing young men and young women, and I'm not like I'm like super old. I'm 35, but it's like to see young people go and do something that's hard and like almost like beat themselves down to then build themselves up. Like, I am obsessed with seeing people succeed. And I love when I sense somebody has the abundance mindset, because it's all like people who have a sense of abundance, like they are happy when other people succeed. And it's all like, I feel like success comes easier to them because they don't feel like it's left for somebody else. They feel like, oh, well, I can do it too. And so it's like when I see my reps, there's nothing I love more, because some of my reps will say, well, like, well, I'm doing this better than you did at this stage. And I was like, good. I was like, that means that
Awesome.
I've put you in a position. And I'm not saying it's all me. Like, I've got, partners like Jordan Lewis, Aaron Doria, Puck Hereford, where it's like, we've created a system where guys can plug in. It's like, I mean, my first year, I did 72. I was the top rookie in my office. It wasn't anything special, but it's like now my top rookie this last year did over 200. And I'm all like, well, why? Because he's around guys that are, opening his vision. And I love seeing, like, every year it just gets bigger and better and more dialed. And it's like, now do we have the things that are hard, like the trials or like the bumps in the road? For sure, but it's all like every single, like, I can literally say I have never had my downline do less the previous year than the year that I'm in. And I'm all like, I think it's because I love what I do, and it's like, it's fun because everything that's hard, it gets easier in the sense that you know how to handle it better. And like, it's not like, oh, well, it's easier once you're a manager or you're a senior leader or you're a regional. It's like, no, it's just a different set of hard, right? And that's really interesting.
And I love that you bring that up, because that's actually that's a part of my topic in my new book, is that as you evolve and grow and you change your perspective on life, the tasks don't get easier, but you increase your capacity to be able to handle it.
Yes.
Right? You grow as an individual. The work is the same, but you get better, you grow, and you expand. And I love that's what you're saying, because it's in total alignment. Another question I want to ask you is, you've had a lot of people come through your organization.
Yeah.
Right? You've seen young reps do really, really well. And you've also seen reps who may have shown talent in the beginning or skill set that actually didn't pan out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm curious from your perspective, from what you've seen in a leadership role and having been in the industry for over a decade, what separates those who, because everyone comes out eager. Mm-hmm. Everyone thinks they're going to crush it. Everyone thinks they're going to do well, right? Yeah. No one's going to move out for a whole summer if they don't think they're going to do well, right? So everyone has big goals and lofty goals, right? What are the differences you've seen from reps who actually succeed and hit their goals and have a successful summer versus those that might, quit 6-8 weeks in?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. It's like, there's 4 things that I always say for reps or rookies to succeed. First one is work ethic. And I'm like, hey, I was out in Memphis just recently, and it's like, I gave a training to these guys, and I said, guys, if I could teach work ethic, I'd be a trillionaire. I wouldn't be a billionaire, I'd be a trillionaire. And I was all like, but I can't. So if you have work ethic, that's the number one thing. The next thing is teachability. When a rep is teachable, it's all like, I was like, you need to have the mindset of like, I say jump, you say how high. It's like, sometimes I'll have reps who'll come in and like, well, I can like do this drip model on like this SEO that I've been working with on Google. And I'm all like, you know how many times I've been told that? I've been told that every year since I started this job. So over a decade.
It's the rookie that comes every, he's like, oh, I'm just going to go sell to real estate agents.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, oh, I'm going to go do like a bunch, like these complexes. Yeah. There's like 400. I'm going to get 400 just like that. I'm like, brother, I've heard that so many times. I was like, don't shy away from the hard work, right? So it's like the guys who are willing to be teachable. And then the third one is shamelessness. Like people who are not to go and be like shady, but it's like being willing to do things when you're out of your comfort zone. Like guys or these rookies that are willing to get out of their comfort zone, and live there and be okay and thrive, they crush it. And the last thing would be self-belief. I think the guys who believe themselves. And then another thing too that I would say is like reps who don't feel entitled. Like it's just, you can sense the difference between the two. And like I'll be real, like I've lived in Utah doing this job the whole entire time. And probably for the first like 7 years, I was recruiting out of Utah, and it was hard for me. And I'm like, I am part of this group. So it's like, hopefully people don't take offense to this that hear this out. But it's like, I do feel like people who are from Utah, who've grown up around door to door, they feel entitled to go make 500 grand or 200 grand. And like, that's okay if you're willing to have your work ethic and teachability and all this other stuff.
Skills you put behind
then it's going to be okay. And it's like, I would probably say 90% of my org, I'm not saying there's not great reps here, but if I sense entitlement from a rep that I'm recruiting, it's over. It's all like this, I can't work with that. So it's like, I have probably 90% of my downline is outside of the state. And one thing I've realized about these reps is they appreciate this opportunity 100x more because it's so new to them. So like when they go make 20 or 30 grand, they're like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. So I mean, it's like, not to go on like a super long rant. It's just like, you have those 4 things and then you take out the entitlement. It's like, that is a superhuman sales rep.
I work with a solar founder. He's been one of my clients for 5 years, and he is an immigrant from Colombia. And he has an incredible business in Florida selling solar, and he only recruits other immigrants. And I go down and I work with these guys, and they are so grateful for the opportunity. Coming from Venezuela, there's a kid from Venezuela, a kid from Colombia, right? And they just see this opportunity where like, I can go make $100,000, and they go out and they work so hard, and they're so grateful and so bought in, and it's a completely different mindset. So there is, why do you think the Utah market kind of got tainted this way?
It's really competitive here.
Yeah.
Like
it's the mecca here.
I've fallen like victim to it. It's like, I've been, talked to by tons of different companies. Like honestly, one of the greatest blessings that I ever had is that I didn't leave when I wanted to leave a couple different times, like full transparency. Like my brother was working at, Sunrun, making more money than me.
I mean, I want to talk about that because that's, there was a moment a couple years ago when solar was like the new hot girl at school.
Yeah.
Everyone was trying to get her.
I was calling that hot chick. I'll be honest, know, and sorry.
And so you have a brother that's at Sunrun during
was at Sunrun
during the hot girl period, right? Yeah. When, the economics were working out with interest rates and whatnot, everything was aligned.
Obviously, beautiful bill.
There's been a lot of changes in solar. It's been turbulent. So what encouraged you to stay at Vivint when you had so many reasons to leave?
I mean, and it's like, I don't want this again to rub anybody the wrong way, but it's like, I have an incredible wife. Here's one thing I'll say, totally off topic. You want to succeed in life, find a wife that is just an absolute boss. Like without my wife, I am not the man that I am. Like she's an absolute queen. She's gorgeous. But like more importantly, she knocked doors for 2 years. Like she knows what I go through. She's moved 22 different times with me. And so it's all like, she's also, for somebody who hasn't been in the industry and like doing all that stuff, she gives me a lot of like really good feedback. And so, I'm talking with my brother about, there was a couple other, I had lost a rep, really, really good rep to go. I can't even remember the solar company he went to. Then my brother's talking with me, I'm talking with my upline, and I'm just like explaining like, hey, this is where I'm at with all this stuff. And I remember my wife said, well, let's just say you did. Let's say you left. What does it look like in 5 years? And I'm all like, for somebody who's not in the industry, that was just like such a bar of a question. She's all like, you're thinking about everything that's going on right now. Cause like for me, it is really easy to find an opportunity that looks super shiny and awesome. Right. And it was great. And it's like, I did have my brother making more money than me. He's like, dude, if you could come over here. And like, when she said that to me, and I was all like, I started asking more questions. Right. And I'm not saying that the solar industry is bad. Like we set a bunch of leads, and I've made great money with Vivint. I liked where I was. I liked the people that I worked with. I think Vivint had a great product, all this different stuff. And I was like, I could see myself there in 5 years. With solar, I was like, it was a question mark. And it's not like
it was more risky.
Yeah. And it's not, I don't know. I think there's something to say about if you have a really good setup and you understand the economics behind it. And like, I will happily, willingly, like I leaned on Aaron Doria a lot during that time. Like I'm the type where I'm like, I'm going to go through the front door. I'm not going to try and like get a setup where it's like, okay, everything's good. And then it's like, no, he was I didn't even talk with any of my reps. Right. But working with him, Puck, Josh Crittenden was great. And so I started understanding the economics, and I'm all like, okay, putting this belief in these guys. And I think about like, our group did, around 12,000 accounts this last year. And I'm all like, when I was having that conversation, I was doing right around 2,000, right? So it's like, that was back in 2021. So we're talking 4 years, we 6X the growth. And I'm like, right now, our region Empire is up right around 50%, And so I'm all like, it goes back to that question my wife asked, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Because it's like what she knows that I love more than anything else is developing reps. Where do you think that's going to be the best place for it? And it's like, I wholeheartedly believed it was Vivint, but it's like, it came from a question from somebody who isn't in the world that I was in.
Yeah, talk about that for a little bit, because one thing I'm noticing as you share these stories is that you've been around incredible people and mentors in your life, from your brothers, your dad, your wife, Puck, Doria, Jordan Lewis, Asael. I mean, these are all guys that are like incredible human beings with high integrity that you can trust. So, I mean, talk to me a little about the importance of picking and having the right people in your corner.
It's interesting because like me and J-Lou, Jordan Lewis.
Love J-Lou. He's been on this pod.
Yeah, he's awesome. And it's interesting because like me and Jordan had a lot of growing pains. A lot of people don't know this. So I'm coming out, publicly on this. And
the dirt's like, coming out.
Yeah. And we fought a lot. And like we had two different ways of going about things. Like, I feel bad for our wives because like they were the people that we'd go back to, like, Steve did this or Jordan did this. And then they would obviously want to like back us up. And it's interesting because it's like, the trust wasn't always there, but at the end of the day, it did feel right. And now I'm looking back, hindsight's 2020. I mean, I was talking with Jordan today. I mean, I talk with Jordan like literally almost every day. Business has never been better, like ever been better. The way we communicate, the way we get things done. And I would say like when you can lean into loyalty and you have a good vehicle, it's like, I don't think it's smart to leave, right? It's like, now understand the vehicle, like look under the hood, make sure like everything's there and it's going to make it. Yeah. Cause it's like, I look at how many companies have gone BK in the last, 3 or 4 years. It's in probably close to the thousands, right? But it's all like, I knew that Vivint wasn't going anywhere. I know that like every single year I was paid what I was owed. Right. And I knew that there were good people in my corner. Does that mean that I haven't had issues or question marks or concerns? No, but it's like, we've always worked it out. And it hasn't been like, I've never felt like somebody was trying to go like behind my back. But I mean, again, if you have loyalty and you have a good vehicle, it's like, I don't think there's a reason to leave, because it's like, that's really hard to find in this.
I mean, it's all about being with the right people. There's people in certain regions at Vivint that have great people around them, and and they've stayed forever and they work. And I've also known people that in different situations that have a better network of people at a different company. And I think the shift makes sense. And so I think for everyone, it really goes back to, can I trust the people I work with? Do I know that they have my back? And can I build with them?
Yeah.
And I think that's actually the first piece you've got to put together. And then I think the company kind of comes second. But that's one thing that Vivint has done so well over the years. I work with a lot of people in multiple industries and multiple companies and across the country. And Vivint has just always been this consistent, reliable, and almost a factory of leadership. And I think it all stems back to Todd.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's funny. As you were saying that, I'm like, dude, Todd is the GOAT.
He hasn't been at Vivint in a couple of years, but his like impact will be eternal.
Yeah. I mean, he's single-handedly impacted millions of people.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to add to what we're talking about is like, advice that I would give to anybody in the industry, protect your reputation. Like, your reputation will precede you in conversations that you're not in closed door rooms. And it's all like, just understand, like, when you do something wrong or like you're trying to take advantage of somebody, and like I've lost a lot of money because reps have taken advantage of me, you know, and they could 100%, you know, feel valid towards this or that, or like that they feel entitled to it or whatever. But it's like, I think some guys will go and they will make decisions or have actions that just mess up the reputation. And I think, like, when guys, like, if you're going from one company to another, that's one thing. But when you're switching a company every single year
and asking for money up front,
yeah,
and
it's
what's
not
my
like
bonus?
The thing is, it's like, if I see a rep like that, red flag. It's like, and I'm like, I will call them out on it. It's like, because that's not a scalable business to be able to be working alongside like that. So I tell guys, I'm like, listen, do not have the fear of losing toxic people. Let them go. And I was like, because they're going to hurt you more in the long run than you realize. And it's all like, people will respect you more when you make decisions like that, because like, that's my guy. I know that that guy is going to go to battle for me in a situation that I might not be in the room, because he cares about doing it the right way, you know? And I think reputation is so important. And it's like, I'm so relationally driven within this job, where it's like, I want to be friends with reps after they're done with me, because for me, I'm like, I want them to come into my program, develop, and I want them to leave better than they were when they first came. And because like, if they go and succeed, like, I have one rep, love him to death. His name's Sam Perkins. He worked with me for 3 years. He knocked on my door, rang my doorbell, and I was in a sale in Antioch, California, selling this guy. And I used him knocking on my door to sell the customer, because I'm like, hey, I'm talking with this guy, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to be home. I think that was actually my first year ever hitting 200. I was like, I'm going to be home in a couple weeks. I'd love to meet with you. And so it's like, I ended up recruiting this guy.
And recruiting at the same time.
And it's all like, this kid, I've you know, hung out with him after we've worked together and whatnot. And, you know, he got into an investment that, I don't know if you know Bronson Kafusi, awesome, like probably one of the most networked guys. He brought me introduced me to Harris Investment Group, and then I introduced Sam to them. I didn't end up investing, but then Sam did, and like, investment's going great for him. So I'm just all like, that type of stuff, like, I love it. And that's where I'm like, that has to do with reputations. Like, I don't want guys to leave. And I'm not saying that guys haven't left me, you know, and not been happy. I haven't made every single person happy. It's impossible, right? But it's like, I'm going to do my best to make sure that if they're in my program, when they leave, we're leaving on good terms. Like, I really don't want to burn a bridge. I probably burned, you know, a half a dozen bridges, you know, maybe 2, 3 or so. But it's all like, I think it's important that, because I actually get referrals from these people too. We're like, hey, dude, I got a sale. Like, this is my next door neighbor. But anyway, I mean, not to go again on a tangent, but it's like, reputation is so important in the door-to-door world, where it's like, people will speak about you with you not being in the room. Give them something good to say in the best way possible.
And I would say too, just the door-to-door space is crazy. Like, there's so many ups and downs and changes and leadership changes and company changes, where it's like, this person might be leaving you today, but they might be calling you in a year from now, because one thing I can promise, right? We're recording this in January 2026. There will be something that happens summer 2026 that no one has thought about or is prepared for, that's going to create havoc.
Yeah.
It'll happen. Like, I guarantee it happens every year, big or small, but like, there will be uncertainty and, you know, challenges in your door-to-door and your door-to-door company, your team, your office this summer. That's going to be hard, I promise. Right. And if you just can, you know, leave people better than you found them, you never know what's going to happen 2 years from the road, 3 years down the road, where people can come back around. And, you know, as long as you've built those really healthy relationships, you continue to grow moving forward. And so I think you're right on the money that, you know, the reputation piece is huge. And one thing I would say too, if you have a good reputation with your people, I think there's a direct correlation to the quality of the business you sell.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to sell clean accounts. You're not going to have attrition, right? You're not going to have customer complaints. And I think it's just more of a character issue, right? If you've building strong relationships, that's someone you can count on that's going to sell clean business as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like it's interesting that we talk about like guys who have left. It's interesting because like we've had, and I like I said, I love working with JLu. Like, I actually am super grateful for all the stuff that we've been through, because I actually think it's helped us be a lot better leaders to our people when they have issues like that. It's like, listen, dude, like this is what we went through, and now it's the best it's ever been. But like me and Jordan will talk about reps who've left us and then come back a year or two later. And like for me, I take a lot of pride in that, because it means we've created a good enough system to not only they felt like, hey, this was good for me, like professionally, I enjoyed being here. Because like if they didn't, they're not going to come back, right? And so I tell guys, I'm like, if you lose a guy and it's a good rep, like do not burn that bridge, because you never know, they might come back because they appreciated how you handled it, right?
So someone listening to this, they're kind of on their growth path. They've had a good couple of years. They're kind of moving into leadership, management, partnership. You've mentioned you've had some growing pains with your partners. What are some of the difficult conversations or situations as you evolve in the industry that reps should be prepared for to handle? Because it's, really from being a sales rep knocking doors to leading and managing and recruiting and building an organization, it's a different skill set. Mm-hmm. Right. So what are some of the growing pains you went through as you went through that transition of, oh, I'm going to go be a 200 account rep to now I'm a regional, right? Talk to us some of those growing pains you have as you make that switch.
I mean, a lot of people like to punt things, right? It's like, oh, I just don't want to deal with this right now. And it's all like, I think in some situations that should be done, but I'm all like, you're talking about hard conversations. It's like, there's a wide variety of hard conversations, whether it's about pay, whether it's about, schedule, or like, are you towing the line? Am I towing the line? Whatever. But it's all like, a lot of people just do not have those conversations. I would say that's the problem. It's like when you're having growing pains, there are going to be situations where, you do need to have a hard conversation. It's ironic because like, I wouldn't say we've had like crazy hard conversations, but me and my partner, Jordan, we've had some hard conversations recently, and it's the best it's ever been. It's because we've had them 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And it's like, that was pretty turbulent. It's like, we've gotten better and better and better. But I just think some people think it's just going to automatically just happen the way they want to, and I think it's like, don't have a conversation through text. I think the best place to have or hash those things out is in person. And I was like, the next second best would be over a phone call. But it's like, do not try and figure out something difficult. And I'm like, I have done this.
You're talking from experience.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's like, I prefer texting a lot of the time because I can handle 15 conversations at once, right? But it's like when you're on the phone or you're in person, the focus is there. You hear tonality.
You're present.
Yeah, it's just a completely different thing. So I would say like growing pains starts with hard conversations, being honest, like being willing to listen, right? And understand like you might not always be right? And it's interesting because it's like we are a unique set of people who do door to door. Like you got to be a little different in some way or another. And so it's like when you start having leaders, it's like you have 19-year-olds. I mean, I had a 19-year-old that made like $275,000, $300,000 this year. So it's all like, when you start getting that confidence, you have this money, then guys think they're too cool for school. And so it's like, oh, well, I'm better than you. And it's like, there's just so much ego. It's like, put your ego to the side, have the conversation, understand like, how can we move forward to where we can scale this, as opposed to like, I'm right, you're wrong. And it's all like, being 15 years in, I'm like, man, I would have just slapped myself in the face with how I handled a lot of like problems in the past because I was way too emotional. I texted it instead of calling on the phone. And so I started assuming things. But I would say, like, as for just like bullet points, be willing to have the hard conversation, be willing to do it in person or on the phone, and then understand a pathway forward doesn't mean you always have to be right. Right. And so I'd say those three things have definitely helped out a lot.
Yeah, really, one of my favorite quotes is from Tim Ferriss. Maybe Tim Ferriss quoted from someone else, but he says, the quality of your life is directly correlated to the number of difficult conversations you're willing to have.
I couldn't agree with that more.
And it was so powerful. And, and to your points that you're saying, there's also like, it feels like you're sharing sales skills, because it's the, I share this all the time. It's like, hey, when you're in a customer's house, if it's you versus the customer, who's going to win every time?
Yeah, customer,
right?
Always.
So when you're having a hard conversation, whether it's with a spouse or a business partner, if it's you versus them, right, you're not going to get anywhere. It's you and your JLU or your wife or, a rep together versus the problem. And when you can actually get someone to come sit on the same side of the table with you, you can just see the problem a lot differently. If you can go into a hard conversation with someone you work with or you love or you respect, and it's like, hey, we're on the same team. We're not seeing eye to eye on something, but we're teammates first, and together we're going to solve this problem, or we're going to work it out, and we're going to hear each other out. I think there's just so much growth in there that can also save a lot of long-term damage.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure not only have you had these difficult conversations with business partners, but I'm sure you've had them with your wife and family members, right?
Yeah. And I would say like some of my biggest, fights, discussions, whatever you want to call it, with my wife, I've, done via text.
Yeah.
Right. And then like, having it, like there is a sense of humility that needs to take place when you're in a place of leadership, right? Where it's all like, I think some people or some leaders in the industry think like they have all the answers. And like one point, it's interesting because like you talk about you writing this book, and I've told Jordan, I was like, bro, you and I should write a book on like how we handled the last 5 years and now where we are, right? Because like there's so many takeaways that we could have. But I'm like, people get super emotional in this job, whether it's on the doors or in leadership. And it's interesting because I had a rep, one of my leaders called me up today talking about one of his reps. And it's interesting because when guys do well, they get this new sense of ego where it's like, entitlement, like I'm so good and all this stuff, but they just don't know what they don't know. And I was laughing on the phone with him because he's like, dude, I need your help with this. And then I start laughing. Like I'm laughing hard.
Yeah.
And he's all like, dude, don't laugh. And I'm like, bro, this is literally you within the last probably 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm all like, so the fact that you're literally dealing with this, when I dealt with you, like it actually feels really refreshing to me. And I was like, no, I'm going to for sure help you, but it's just, you don't know what you don't know. So the humility helps out a lot, right? The ego, like check yourself, like understand that like you're not going to have all the answers. And the point that I was going to before I jumped onto that tangent is like, you want people that you can work alongside, because in this industry, you're going to have reps that might not like vibe with you as much as your partner, right? And I've had, Jordan's an elite sales rep, right? I mean, my best year is 204. Jordan's 320, something like that. So it's like, he could, like when it was like a top dog, Jordan, I believe, could relate better with them. And sometimes I'd be like, oh, well, like I want to be the guy that's like providing value in every single way. Now I've realized I'm like, I take a lot off Jordan's plate and Jordan takes a lot off my plate. So what does that help our business? It helps it scale. That's the reason why we're doing 12,000 and not 2,000, what we were doing in 2021. So I'm like, if I love leadership because it's just constantly evolving for somebody in the space, because it's like every year there's just a new level of something. And I think that's why I've done it for so long, is because like I'm never comfortable, because I know that there's more. And I think the second that a leader feels comfortable is when they're not in the place that they should be. They need to be doing more. They need to be showing up for the reps. Like I was out I literally 2 days ago, I mean, I told you, I said, hey, I'm traveling out here. I can't meet. And then last week I was in Houston, right? And then I was in Tennessee. And so I'm all like, I'm not scared to go out and work. And that's why I love working with a partner like JLU, is because I know he was in Arizona while I was in Tennessee. And so I'm all like, if you have these types of, partnerships and whatnot, and you feel like you're the one pulling and the other person's not, or they're the one doing it and you're not, I'm like, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's going to create resentment.
Exactly.
Yeah, really, as you share these leadership techniques and ideas and concepts, it reminds me of the personal development quote that says, leaders save more lives than a surgeon. And with that concept of like, not only are you focusing on your development and your growth and your relationship with your partners, but it's got to be so fulfilling to see the impact you have on these kids, right? And these guys in your program, right? Yeah. And, I really believe that like door to door is the ultimate container for personal development.
I could not agree with you more.
It's like truly a personal development program that has high commissions. And so there's this fulfilling piece of, you learn these skills within yourself, you have trials and situations with partners and whatnot, and then you grow from them and learn. And then to have like that moment where you have the rep call you and you're laughing because it's like, oh, I've gone through this growth moment.
This was literally 4 hours ago, dude. Yeah. I was laughing loud.
Yeah.
It's gotta be like, stop.
It's gotta be so fulfilling, and another piece of the fulfillment piece that I want to touch on and kind of pivot to is, it's been cool to watch you excel in the door-to-door space. You're a great leader. You've always got great enthusiasm, great energy. I know your people love working with you, but you've also set yourself up well on the investing side. Yeah. Right. So you own a donut shop.
Yeah.
Right. So tell us a little bit about like what inspired you to get into the food and bev space.
It's interesting because I was like, I've always wanted to own a restaurant. Right. And it's like, we grew up in Southern California and there's donut shops all over the place. And so, when my brother Scott, who's like a serial entrepreneur, came to me, he's like, dude, you should invest in this. And I'm like, dude, I'm totally down. And it's interesting because I said no the first time. And then he came back to me again with their newest donut. And they're called Spuddies, or little donut holes. And that's like my favorite. I got some today. I literally just drove just to get a little cup. And it's all like, I'm sold. I want this. This is awesome. And they're made with potatoes, as opposed to like they're a lot more dense than like a regular Krispy Kreme.
More starchy.
But it's interesting that it's like, I post a lot about the donut shop, but it's like, I love investing. I kind of have a problem. Like I have created 2 accounts for my wife because like we've been wanting to get into a house. We just bought a lot, ended up doing like the architecture work and whatnot. And then we realized it wasn't giving us, we didn't realize the setbacks. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but like the setbacks of where the street is, your house has to move back on both sides because we're on the corner. And so it left us with not a whole lot of space for the backyard. So we ended up, now that we're selling that lot and we're looking for another house, but I'm like, the point that I'm making there is I get my back ends, or I get, stock grants or whatever it ends up being. I just want to invest in stuff. And I'm all like, Vivint, door to door, like the way it pays us is just the greatest catalyst to be able to create an amazing net worth, right? And it's all like, the donuts are fun because it's like, it's a fun thing to do, right? It's like, it's not my number one thing, but like, it's fun with my kids. Like my kids actually have ownership in it as well. So it's like, we go and build this, we franchise it. The kids are like, they've gone in there and worked, and my kids will sell, door to door. It's funny, they'll sell the donuts door to door. So that's been fun. But it's all like, my brother brought it to me. I was like, I wanted to own a restaurant. It's funny because I was telling you earlier, my wife's super, super healthy.
She probably doesn't eat it.
Yeah, no, she doesn't.
She doesn't eat it.
She doesn't eat it. I mean, she appreciates it, likes it, the kids like it, but like, that's just not her cup of tea. And it's funny because people ask me like, so Steve invested in a donut shop? Like, how do you feel about that? Like, that's probably been asked for like 10 different times, but like, I love crypto. I love real estate. Like I've always wanted to own a hotel. My buddy reached out to me and said, hey, I got an investment for a Marriott in Dayton, Ohio. I'm like, bro. And like, that helps me save a lot of money when I go travel all the time. And then I've done a bunch of investments with Todd, like the network that you have within the door-to-door space. It doesn't matter, like whether you're at Vivint or not, it's like you're around a lot of people, especially these leaders that have capital to go and deploy it. And like, we've thought about moving to California. We've thought about, moving to the East Coast or whatever, but I'm all like, this is why I love Utah. And I love the fact that it is the door-to-door mecca, is because you have all these entrepreneurial minded people where it's all like when people, here's a hot take. That's not really a hot take, is there is no better time to make a lot of money than right now.
Never been easier to make money.
Yeah, it is wildly, it's insane. And I think when people are like, struggling with, making money, that's like, I understand that people have circumstances, and I'm not trying to be, naive or disrespectful to that. However, it's just lots of people are not willing to work because we have this, right? This gives us what we want instantly. If I want information, ChatGPT. If I want to buy a flight, I can get on Delta. If I want food sent to me right now, I can get DoorDash. Like my wife gets groceries sent to our house. Like everything we want is so easy to obtain.
The barrier to entry to financial freedom has never been lower. And what's crazy too is that device in your phone accesses all of the history and information in the entire world in your pocket, And so what's powerful about that is that what I've experienced, because I have a paid coaching program to be part of my group, right? Is that it's not an access to resources or information that people are missing. It's the willingness to actually, you talked about work ethic. It's the willingness to go out and work and support. And I look at my life, I've hired great coaches and mentors who have done it. And then they kind of just guide you and walk you through it, right? And so we all have access to this to the point where it's almost like if you're not, it's going to sound kind of harsh, and to your point, there are people who have dire circumstances and have been dealt a hard hand and make it difficult. But at the same time, that if you are not financially successful in 2026, it's because you're irresponsible.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. It's like the access to information is there. The resources are there. The information is, YouTube, everything you want to learn is on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then especially in our industry, right, you have access to a job where you can go learn a new skill set of customer acquisition and provide a great product, whether it's Vivint or solar or Windows or pest control, right? And then be able to take it to the masses where it's like, it's literally a matter of, are you willing to go feel discomfort, pain, rejection, frustration, anxiety, all these things, so that you can put yourself in a situation to succeed? And to your point, it's like the investing thing, I love it too. It's like every time I send a wire, you always get really excited.
Yeah. I mean, I literally did a wire today for an investment, and I'm like, it's fun. Like, and I talked to you, like, I love collecting, right? And I feel like,
what do you collect?
So sports cards, NFTs.
So what's your sports? Because I collect NBA cards.
Okay. So my brother Scott is really, really, really big into baseball cards, and he does all cards too. Yeah. Like he's got some Michael Jordans, he's got some Tom Brady's,
but he's a baseball guy.
But he's big baseball guy. And so it's like, I've been doing a lot of baseball because it's like, I want to be with him.
Because
like,
you're a huge Dodgers guy.
Huge Dodgers guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I got a Shohei Ohtani signed. It's not a rookie, but I'm all like, and I went over to his house, kind of, he's showing me all this stuff. Like, I'm like I'm a minnow in the ocean. He's like this
he's a whale
with all this stuff. But it's like, I'm really big into NFTs and digital collectibles, but it's just like, I feel like investing kind of similar. It's like, I want to have, like, I look at Spudley, the donut shop, as like a portfolio. Like, it's fun. I love bringing reps there. It's like when my guys come in from out of town, it's like, dude, we're going to Spudley. My guys, like, I usually will bring out Spudley when I go visit them. So it's like, it's just a fun way to do it. And the point that I wanted to make too, to touch on as well as we're on this topic is, I was out training, my guys out in Tennessee, and I said to him, I was like, listen, sales and leadership cannot be replicated by AI. AI cannot do what a salesperson and leader can do. And I was like, I have a buddy who did private equity. He's actually the one I did the hotel deal with. He now is in a different company, and what they do is they purchase short-term rental management companies. And so he'll buy their book of business and whatnot. And he bought this book of business, and his whole thing is he's going to optimize bottom line, get the cash flow going. And it's like, they had accountants, right? And they were paying these accountants, I don't know, $300,000, $400,000. And guess what he did right off the bat? AI automated it, $300,000 or $400,000 now back into their pockets that they're not spending on. I was like, and I think AI is going to be a great thing. I think it is going to take a lot of jobs, but it's not going to take salespeople's jobs. It's not going to take leaders' jobs. So it's like, if you're hearing my voice and you can see me right now, double down on becoming an elite salesman and an elite leader. And it's not like, you'll never be without a job.
And it's on that, I would also include, Steve, is that the generations coming up younger than us are like, they're on their phone all day, right? Yeah. They're chronically, I'm addicted to my phone too, Yeah,
actually, I'm in that boat as well.
We'll do a quick shout out pause, kind of a side step before I continue that thought. I did something recently I want to share that's been really powerful. I was totally addicted to my phone. Instagram, Twitter, following sports news,
Yeah.
the whole thing. So what I did is I went to Apple and I bought a mini iPad that's Wi-Fi only. And I leave it on my chair, like in my main living room. And I put all of my social media on that iPad. So Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, whatever it may be. And it's only on that iPad, and I deleted it off my phone.
That's genius.
And it's completely changed my life. So like right now my phone's over here.
How long did you do that?
1st of December.
Okay.
So we're like 6 weeks in. It's amazing. I'm not.
So you were pre New Year's resolution. You were already.
I was on it.
You were ahead of it. I like that.
It's been life changing because I for sure still have all my social medias and I post and all the things. But when I leave my house, I'm not connected to social media. I have phone call, Spotify, maps. So like I've been here earlier today. I was recording some content in the building. I've been here since noon. I haven't checked my Instagram or my Twitter since 10:30 this morning because I don't have access to it. Like, because I noticed I was like driving in my car and at a stoplight, I'm looking at Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I doing? This is so dumb. Like I'm missing the real world. I'm like not connected to people. Like I don't. And so I've noticed like when I'm at the grocery store, I'm like talking to the cashier. I'm like engaging with real life because I'm not on my phone. And to your point with the AI thing, not only does this job provide you with financial stability and growth and development and leadership, but you're learning face-to-face communication.
Yeah.
Right. I was watching again on my iPad last night before I went to bed. I'm seeing like these new videos on Twitter of like how crazy AI is getting, where like there's people talking and it looks like, the kids from Stranger Things, and it's like looks perfectly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not going to be able to trust anything.
Yes.
In probably a year. Right. So this face-to-face skill set of communication, leadership, negotiation, that skill set, the value of that is only going to go up.
Exactly.
Right. And so that's why I think this job is so cool. And I was here with Josh Crittenden not too long ago, and I just said, hey, door-to-door is not going away. I think if anything, face-to-face interactions and transactions are only going to increase because people have trust.
Yeah, they don't know what to believe.
Yeah, they don't believe
it's all like it's when people feel connected in just anything, it's all like they are more willing to work in that scenario with who they're connected with. So it's all like, like I always talk about, like build rapport. And like there's some guys who are elite salespeople who don't really care at all about rapport. That's not how I sell at all. But I'm like, I think I get a lot of referrals because of that,
Totally.
And it just makes transactions occur quicker because of that. But I just think that it's almost going to help, not almost, it's going to help our industry that much more because of what AI won't be able to do. And it's all like, I love being a part of an industry that AI is not going to take away. I mean, yeah, will they help automate some sales? But it's like, at the end of the day, I do think people are going to want to connect with
the only
somebody
thing you can trust.
Exactly.
Right. And so I think you actually have anyone listening to this, you have a duty and an obligation to learn how to effectively communicate in person.
Yeah. Well, it's like you talk with people who really are on devices all day long. Like they can't socially hang sometimes.
No, it's
and you're
just
just kind of like, dang, like this is, and like sometimes kids who are just on devices all day long. Like kind of going back to my wife being a super health, like she just screen time, like doesn't like she's like, be mindful of like where we are with our cell phones. So our kids aren't like, we're asking them to do this and we're not doing it. So like she's been hyper vigilant of that. And I am appreciative of that because I do know how it's affected other people, but I'm like, I love what you're doing. Cause like we bought this thing, dang it, I can't remember what it's called.
This is the brick?
Brick, yes.
Love the brick.
Yeah. So I got the brick I haven't set it up. I got it for Christmas.
It's amazing.
And I'm all like, my sister-in-law, she got it and I saw her using it. So the one who lived out by where you lived in California, she has it. And so she'll like go and like tap it. I'm like, what the heck is that? She's like, oh, you need this. I'm all like, what is it? And then she kind of breaks it down. Like you tap it. I haven't set it up yet, but I got it for Christmas,
Yeah. So I teach sales. When I go travel to sales teams, I tell people to go buy it because like if you're out and it's perfect for a summer program.
Yeah.
Because you have your apartments, you put your brick on the fridge, you go out to go knock doors. You can't check anything.
100%.
You can't check
incentive.
Right. Using your brick is the incentive.
Yes.
They're $50. And then you get home from the doors.
Yes.
And then you can unbrick and do your TikTok and whatever. Right. But it just keeps you distracted because, and the way I see my business, my life, my trajectory, I did a big goal setting thing for New Year's, and it became very clear to me that the number one threat to my personal and business success isn't the economy. It isn't situational. It isn't financial situations. It's my ability to navigate distraction. I think distraction is the number one threat to my success. Can I actually lock in and do the coaching training and do the back end and do, my web and personal and business development, learn the new skill sets? And I think like this device, it's crazy. It's this double-edged sword where it's like, yeah, I've gotten a lot of business from it. And at the same time, I catch myself scrolling a lot longer than I need to. And I know I need to get on my computer and do back-end development and pay stuff. And so I think someone's ability to navigate distraction, and I see it in the door-to-door space too. Like you see a lot of great young reps who have a lot of potential, but they're freaking staying up late and playing Xbox and on their phone and doing Snapchat and doing TikToks, right? And I'm like, just go out and freaking work. I wanted to say this quote earlier and I kind of forgot, but I'm coming back to it. You said the number one skill set, you said, if you could teach people how to work, you'd be a trillionaire.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of Bodie Gardner, who, great mentor and friend of mine, who used to be a VP at Vivint. And he would say, I can teach you how to sell, but I can't teach you how to work. Right? If you come in my program, I'll give you all of the skill sets you need to knock doors and door approach and overcome objections and ask for referrals, but I can't knock the doors for you. So if you're have an organization that you're building and you're growing and expanding, what type of rep are you looking for? You want the rep who's willing to work, even if his skill set might not be there, because you can teach that skill, right? But you can't teach someone to just have that like relentless, gritty work ethic.
And it's interesting is like when reps will say like, what I do whenever I go visit my teams, it's like, put me with your rookies. Like I want to take the rookies out to eat and just pick their brain. Like, how did it feel when you told your parent? Like, I love asking that question. Yeah. How did your parents take it when you told them that you're going to come to Texas or Virginia and like be knocking doors with a bunch of strangers? And I love just hearing the responses. I really love, I actually had this young kid, 19 years old, I think he's at like 4 or 5 sales, and just really cool story. Literally this was just a couple days ago. And I asked him how his mom, like what she thought. And he's like, she was actually super supportive. And I'm all like, man, it just like made me happy. Cause it's like, when you do have, like kind of going back to my wife, when you do have that support system, when you're doing something that's hard, it's just nice to know that you have somebody in your corner. So it's like, if somebody's listening to this, like find people that you feel like are in your corner, because they're going to be great for you. Like if they're like, oh no, come home, like do this, like door to door is the greatest way to develop and learn true skill sets that will help you be a better mother, better father, better friend, better brother, whatever it is. It's just, it breaks you down and it builds you back up if you let it, right? And I think like sometimes people are like, dude, I had one of my reps like, dude, sometimes you can get kind of like cheesy and stuff. And I'm like, dude, it's because I'm super passionate about it. Like, I don't know how to say it any other way, but it's like this job, like it is, the money is the product of the development that you allow to take place in your life. So when I see these reps who do well, they truly are developing into a different person. The people that throw in the towel at the get-go, they just rob themselves from the development. It's like, I don't care if you're a 30 account rep or you're a 300 account rep. You are going to learn things that you will not learn in school or any other way. Cause it's like, dude, you're by yourself. Like you get to see what you're made of. And it's all like, sales might not be your forte, but I've had so many people over my, 13 years of doing this job say, dude, I wish I would have gone out with you. I wish that I would have just had that experience for 1 year, because I would have been a better this or that. And I'm like, I'm better in all aspects of my life because I let this job completely break me down as a leader, as a salesperson, as a friend, a father. Like, I mean, I think about like the times that I've been away from my wife and like the sacrifices that we made 2020, right? Like I was away from them for like a month. So it's like we had to navigate that. And so it's like we've kind of had this mantra, I think there's a lot of people in the door-to-door space that feel this way, but it's like we do things that are hard. Like this Warner family does hard things. And if it's hard and we're like really in the thick of it, it's like, guess what? We're going to figure it out, because we've literally done that for the last decade. And so I'm like, and we've all heard this quote before, everything you want is on the other side of hard. So it's like, if you're not allowing yourself to do it, like, you're going to have an average life. Like I see what people who have let this job really shape them. Their lives are like a movie, right? Like private jets, front court, or, courtside seats, eating at incredible restaurants, traveling, humanitarian, being able to meet people. And I'm like, guys, if you really take advantage of this, your life will turn into a movie. And then you can really, like, I think more so than anything else, you are going to be able to help a lot of people. Money's just a magnifier of what you already are. If you are not a good person, you're probably going to be a terrible person. But if you're a good person, you're going to be an incredible person, because you're getting that freedom that comes from what this job's able to allot you. So I love it, dude.
Right on the money, man. And, you just letting the preacher give the sermon here, just dropping knowledge for us, brother. As our time's winding up here, I'm curious, as you're heading into 2026, it seems like each year you've had a lot of growth, a lot of development, and a lot of fulfillment. I'm curious, what are you most looking forward to in the 2026 season?
I mean, what's been fun is like seeing my leaders grow into the position that I just got into, and seeing them get there. Like, it's like, I told my guys, like, I'm going to be out visiting teams every week for 20 weeks. And I said, don't lose sight. Like, guys will be like, oh, I want to get into a position where I'm off the doors. I'm like, I don't love that, because I'm like, you literally are robbing yourself from where the magic happens. Like, that's where everything, like, I'm excited to go visit my teams, right? Like, most of my teams are going to be the East Coast. So it's like that time change can kind of wreck you. But I'm like, I'm excited to go work. I'm excited to see the growth, because it's like, one thing I love is like, okay, I'm beating ourselves last year, because every year I'm like, dang, we just had a killer year. Like, last year we grew by 40 or 50%. And I'm also like, okay, well, how are we going to do that this year? It's like, well, you know what? I'm just going to put my head down. And I love, like, I never want to feel like I'm out of touch. And it's like, as a leader, as you grow, there are moments where you just are going to get out of touch. Like, I'm not running a team anymore. And so it's like, for me, I always used to be the guy, it's like, I knew every little ins and outs of everything. And now I'm like kind of losing a little bit of my edge there. And it's like kind of freaking me out. And I'm also like, you know what? Now I get to lean on my other guys, but I'm able to bring value in other ways, because it's like the conversation I had with my rep today, where he's like, dude, like, this is going on. I'm like, bro, this was literally me with you. Yeah. And he's all like, I know, like, don't laugh. And growth is it's so easy to like fall in love with it and want to be like constantly doing it. So I would say what I'm most looking forward to is not only my growth, but my reps. Like, I have reps that are about to get into the regional life, and it's like, they're going to be overseeing lots of reps, and, they're literally changing their lives. And I'm all like I'm a big advocate for family. Like, I love that my wife's involved. Like, I have a lot of leaders that are married with kids, and I'm all like, you want your kids to see you work. You want your spouse to see you work. And I was like, and if you don't have kids and you aren't married, like, that's what you are working for, right? And I was like, and if you don't end up getting married or having kids, like, that's fine. But it's like, you have people in your family that kind of depend on you going hard right now. So anyway, I love the growth aspect, because it's like, it never ends. It ends when you want it to end. And I was like, I'm not ready for it to end.
Yeah. Never ending growth for the rest of your life, man.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, you're a unit. Absolute fire. Thanks so much for coming on the show, man.
Thank you for having me.
So excited for the year coming up. I know you guys always throw down, and send you a lot of love this year coming up, brother.
Dude.
Big
Thanks
love.
Again.